Hello and welcome back to the channel. My name is Lauren if you're new here, and if you're not new, thank you for coming back. Ritzy is back again for this one. Say hi. Today we are, I know, reviewing another eyeshadow palette, but that's okay because we love eyeshadow palettes here. So let's talk about what we're going to be talking about today. We are going to be reviewing the newest palette from Beauty Bay, which is the Reckless Romance palette. I need to kick this cat off my lap before he knocks all my stuff over. But this is the Reckless Romance palette. Yes, this is very clearly a palette that was supposed to be for Valentine's Day. It took a little while to get here. Beauty Bay is a UK brand, so sometimes shipping takes a little bit of time. But this is the palette. And when it first launched, I really went back and forth over whether or not I wanted to get this. And I eventually decided to for a couple reasons. One being, I love Beauty Bay's formula. This palette is only $22, and the formula, if it's the same Beauty Bay formula that I know and love, is going to be fantastic. It's going to be pigmented. It's going to be easy to apply. The shimmers are going to be shimmerful. I just love the Beauty Bay formula so much. So that was one reason why I picked it up. Two, I actually really liked the layout for this. I thought it was really fun, and I thought it wasn't just like a typical pink palette that you see a lot for Valentine's Day. I thought there was a good mix of like darker colors. You've got like a bunch of different kinds of pink, so you have ones that are more red, more purple. You don't have just pink, you know, because I do already have palettes that are just pink, and I don't need more. So when I saw this, I was like, okay, let's just try it out. So I waited until Beauty Bay had a good little discount code going on, because they normally do. And then I ordered this palette. And again, it was $22 USD. And then I got a little bit of a discount on it. So not bad at all. What we're going to do in this video, I think I'm going to do two separate eye looks today, because why not? And we are going to do swatches, of course, because I need to show off how beautifully pigmented it is and to ensure that it's beautifully pigmented before I say too much. But we're going to do swatches, then we're going to get into the look, and then we will come together and talk about this palette. Okay, let's swatch the new Reckless Romance palette from Beauty Bay. I'm excited. We got a lot of pinks. So let's get into this. Number one, of course, there always has to be a white that does not show up on my skin. Next we have Rebel, VIP, Fling, Love Song, Soulmate, Girlfriend, I like that Affair is a dark burgundy. Wow, that's super pigmented. After Party, Front Row. Ooh, look at that pigment. Ignore. Tattoo. Mini Dress. Backstage. Fishnets. Ooh, that has like purple reflex in it. That's pretty. Paparazzi. Muse. Last Night. Rockstar. And last but probably the blackest, we've got Leather, which, yep, is just a matte black. So that is the whole palette swatched. I'm really excited for this one. I like all the different varieties that they included for this one. So especially look at the pigmentation for these. Like, it's just great pigmentation. Okay, let's try it on. I feel like the swatches did really show that there's a lot of pigment, okay? There's a lot of pigment. I love it so much. So let's get into the look. I already primed this eye with my Give Me Glow primer in the color Parchment. And we, of course, don't have a plan because we rarely have a plan. But what do I want to do? It's interesting because there's a lot of grays, a lot of darker colors on here. But I think what I'm going to go for first, like we can try to do a smokier eye at some point, but I'm going to start by going into this color Rebel, and I'm going to kind of just fluff it out like at the end of my eye and see what that looks like. And I do really feel like this is a good mix of like some dark smoky colors. You do have your pinks if you are a pink girly, but it just is like a good variety for a Valentine's Day palette, you know? Like I was tempted by the one that came out from ColourPop, but that one just was such a typical Valentine's Day palette. And I have the one from last year that I didn't feel like it was worth reviewing. Because we've seen it and I just don't know if we need to see it again. See, how crazy is that? It just is so pigmented. It goes on so easy. It just fluffs out. It's just really pretty. Okay, next what I want to do is I want to go into this color Fling. And I think I'm going to just kind of put it on my upper lid a little bit and like into the crease. Like this. Okay, next let's go in with, oh, I have to use this pretty purple color. This is Front Row, and I'm gonna put some of that, I think, in my crease as well. And it's a little bit messy, but we are going to cover it with shimmer, so it's okay. So now let's go in with a shimmer. They're also pretty, but let's go in with After Party here. And I'm just gonna put some on my finger and dab that in the middle. We're doing a very pink look on this eye. Okay, and we're gonna go back into Fling, and I'm gonna put that underneath my waterline because I really like that color. It's like a dusty rose color. Have you guys seen the controversy on like Instagram or TikTok where people are so upset because people keep using the word mauve wrong, right? I think it's mauve. And I'm like, I use mauve all the time. Am I saying it wrong? I know what the color mauve looks like. Pretty sure, like colors with purplish, like purplish pinky colors, right? Okay, so super easy. That did not take me very long to do. I'm not gonna get too much into the reviews until the end of the video. So let's go ahead, let's decide what to do with the other eye. And, see, okay. Here's my problem with pink eyeshadow. I always feel like I look like I have an eye infection. So it's throwing me off a little bit, but partly that's also because we haven't done eyeliner or mascara yet. So it'll come together, I'm hoping. But let's do the other eye. I do want to do a little bit of a smokier eye with this one. So I think first we're going to go into Backstage, which is this gray color here. And I'm going to put some of that just, I think, up here. Oh, cat hair, of course. And I really want to use one of these like super pigmented, like dark red colors that they have in here. And hopefully I can pull it off, because sometimes these darker colors just make me look so much older. It's super weird. If I do a really dark, heavy look, it just ages me. This is a really pretty soft gray though. Kitty, I swear to God, if you use your claws on me one more time. Yeah, that is actually super pretty. Okay, let's go into, some of these colors are very intimidating, but We gotta try them. Let's go into Paparazzi, which is this like dark reddy brown color. It's not mauve, I swear. I would never. I just thought that was a funny controversy. Because I get it, like there's certain words that people use. Iconic is the one that really does me in. People will use the word iconic. And to me, the word iconic really means something that, you know, has been around for like an extended point in time and is still amazing, right? It still holds on to this icon status. And I don't think a product that is newly released is ever going to be iconic, at least in my eyes. It's got to like take some time to earn that title. There are plenty of words you can use that's not iconic. Okay, I gotta clean my edges up a little bit, which I will do when I put on some mascara and eyeliner. That's a really pretty color. It did take a little bit of building to get there, but I don't typically mind that because you can still see how pigmented it is. It's super pigmented. Okay, I really like that. Very vampy, which I love. Let's go into mini dress, which is just straight up silver. And again, I'm gonna just put some on my finger and tap it in. Okay, and I am gonna go back, I think, into that gray. Just put it underneath my waterline. Okay, yeah, I like that a lot. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and put on eyeliner. I'm gonna clean up the edges a little bit with my damp beauty sponge, and I'm gonna put on mascara, and then I think we should talk about this palette. And we're back. These are the two finished looks that we ended up with. Very different. I actually think I like the darker smoky one a little bit better. Maybe that's because it's dark and gloomy outside and I'm feeling in a more dark and gloomy vampy mood. Maybe. But let's talk about the Beauty Bay Reckless Romance palette and if I think that it's worth picking up. Now, again, just as a reminder, this is what the inside looks like. And again, I still am very sold on the color story. I love all the different colors in here. I think they did a good job mixing it up enough so that you've got just enough color so that it's not just a pink Valentine's Day palette, right? It's a little bit of everything. It's a little more grungy than your typical Valentine's Day palette. One thing I will say, I typically don't do just straight up pink looks because I really do feel like pink makes me look like I have some sort of eye infection. I don't know, something is wrong with me. I don't love pink looks, which is why I think I'm favoring this eye a little bit more, the smokier gray toned eye, because I think this color Rebel is not the color for me. We tried it. It's pretty, it worked fine. It's just not my favorite color. But let's talk about the quality of this eyeshadow palette because that's the most important thing, right? And again, typically I love Beauty Bay's formula. I think the mattes are pigmented, the shimmers are shimmerful, and I think for the most part that's true for this palette. I feel like I had to work a little harder to build up Paparazzi than I normally do with their pigments. So that was kind of interesting, but I got the color that I wanted. It just took a little longer than I thought. All the other mattes I thought worked great. They were all kind of true to color in the pan. And you know, what you got out of the pan is what you got on your eye sort of situation. But I will say I'm a little disappointed by the shimmers. I feel like in previous Beauty Bay palettes, the shimmers have just popped a lot more. And I think these are a little more muted for some reason. They're still beautiful, but I was a little disappointed with After Party. I just felt like, I thought it would be more. I thought it would be more impactful and it wasn't. Mind Dress, Mini Dress, I actually really liked. I think that one is the typical Beauty Bay shimmer that I am normally used to. It's like super impactful, super full of shimmer and pigment, and it's just beautiful. But I think just the After Party color kind of disappointed me a little bit. And even during the swatches, I noticed that some of the shimmers just didn't have as much pigment as I'm used to Beauty Bay shimmers having. So that was a little bit disappointed. Shimmers are just not what I typically like out of Beauty Bay, but that just means that the mattes really stood out even more. Beauty Bay has fantastic mattes. They're easy to blend, they're easy to use, and they're just fun to use, you know? Like, again, like this is not a color I would typically go for, but I used it and it was great and it was really pretty and I really liked the look on that eye. So you never know what you're gonna get. For $22, is this palette worth it? I'm never gonna tell you how to spend your money, but I will say if this is a color story that appeals to you, $22 for a great pigmented, well-performing palette is fantastic. And I don't want to say especially in this economy, but especially in this economy, everyone is raising their prices. Things are expensive and I hate it, okay? But $22 for this palette, I think is fantastic. So I don't think you can go wrong if you do decide to pick this palette up. And again, I think there's enough variation in here is that if you're similar to me and you don't love pink, then this is a good palette to pick up because there's enough, you know, we've got neutral browns in there. We've got some mauvey purples. Maybe not. Maybe that's not a true mauve. Pinky purples, I would say. But we just have a good variety of stuff. And this purple is fantastic. I love it. So I'm going to have to play more with that purple because they do purples fantastically. Fantastic. Their purples are great. Overall, I really do like this palette. I think you can't go wrong if you pick it up. And again, for $22, it's a really good deal. I'm out of here. I hope you enjoyed this video. Let me know down below if this is a palette that appeals to you or if it's something that you can easily pass on. Let me know. I'm curious. And I will see you all in my next video. Bye!